Maria Bartiromo, everybody is really mad that the Durham investigation, I'm sorry, I can't even mention it without it being hilarious. That this guy, Igor Danchenko, was accused of lying to the FBI, and Durham lost. Because it wasn't really a case. The whole thing was about getting accusations into the record someplace so somebody later can refer to things that came out during the Igor Danchenko fucking file or whatever. It just said, thanks, Amoeba Stampede, for being a 26-month subscriber. Bless you. I mean, you've been there for the length of the show since I got. That's about the time I got booted off of YouTube and had to stay on Twitch for a while. You were one of the first ones that came over and helped me stay afloat. So bless you for doing that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, thumbs up, support the show. I always forget to say that. And of course, if you're on Twitch, use Amazon Prime. If you have that, you can subscribe and it doesn't cost you a dime. I'm just saying. All right, here we go. So Maria Bartiromo is very upset, though. Not only has she had to not sell the big lie when she was the outlet store for it, but now all of the things that are gonna we'll just wait and it'll sneak up on they think they got us on the ropes, but we're gonna show them, and it totally ate shit, and especially the people in Trump land are especially mad, and we don't really get a view of inside Trump's world, how he feels about Durham, since that 4 or 5 rallies ago where he was going where's Durham? Where's Durham? Well, we now know where Durham is, and Durham's done. Derpum. And so I would love to hear, Trump flail about it. I'm going to do the rally that he did this weekend tomorrow, but because I'll do it long form earlier in the day since I've got a window of time that I can do it in. And anyways, he might have said it in there, but I haven't seen him mention it in the other ones. He's keeping quiet about it. So yeah, Durham's they're all mad. So this is Devin Nunes apparently talking about, she's coming off this one, and he's there to talk about Kanye West buying Parler.
D.C. court found Igor Danchenko the primary source of the phony Steele dossier.
No, not true.
Not guilty.
Not guilty, not true.
On 4 counts of lying to the FBI, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan joined me on Wednesday with his thoughts. Listen.
Listen.
I guess it doesn't surprise me. I mean, we had the same thing happen with Zussman. You just never know.
Sussman. Maybe you'd have better luck in court if you actually knew how to pronounce the. Never mind.
These are going to go, but never forget what we did learn.
Specifically, what we did learn from because it turns out that some witnesses will look the other way, no matter how bad the crime is. I think back to my time at OSU when
about Danchenko, we learned that the FBI was willing to pay Christopher Steele $1 million to validate the dossier. They knew it was.
Yeah, because it would require him to actually go do work and travel and pay stuff as an informant. If you're a paid informant, you're going to have to grease other people. If that was how they were going to do it, they didn't end up having to do that.
But they went ahead and used it to get the initial FISA to spy.
No, they did not. They absolutely, as a matter of fact, that came out in this trial and the Sussman trial. His own witness, he called his own witness. He asked the judge for permission to treat the witness as a hostile witness because his own witness said, no, we did it because George Papadippidops told some asshole at a bar while he was drinking with him that Russia was going to help Trump win the election. That's what triggered it. George Papadippidots is the reason for the FISA warrants.
On the Trump campaign. So we learned some, I think, valuable facts there.
No, you didn't. You learned some valuable allegations, which are identical to the allegations you guys have always been making. And what you didn't do was learn the answer to those allegations, which were, fuck you.
That just show how the problems that exist at the FBI. It just underscores.
That was an interesting edit. Why wouldn't you keep going with that?
Why we need to change that place, and we're committed to do that.
Yes, we're gonna. Currently it is a law enforcement arm of the government. We're gonna stop it from doing that. Also, we're not really pissed about this part. Nobody gives a shit about the Steele dossier, but they're going after China now, and cha-ching.
Joining me right now to talk more about that is Truth Social CEO. He is
Derp. Derp. Every time someone needs to pull him aside. Dude, every time you show up, I know you want to be smiling on camera, but shit.
former California Congressman.
It just sounds like he's making that noise.
And the former chairman of the House.
Devin Nunes looks like Steve Carell thinks he looks when he's making a funny face. I'm convinced at this point that Steve Carell is doing a Devin Nunes impersonation in The Office and in Anchorman. There, I said it.
Intelligence Committee. At that time, he blew open the Russia collusion lie with his Nunes memo back in 2018. Devin Nunes is here. Devin, it's...
Yes, and he's still in Congress fighting the... Oh, no. And he's still working on the campaign... No, and he's still part of the fastest growing social media... Oh, no.
Good to see you. Welcome back.
Great. Hey, good morning, Maria. Great to be with you.
Yeah, I know you've got some great news around Truth Social being #1 on the...
Yeah, #1 percentage-wise, which means when you go from 0 to 4, it's 400% growth if 0 times... never mind. Anyways.
Google App Store. We'll get to that in a moment, but I want to get...
Because it was just released on the Google apps as the only new one, and everybody who was on there went and downloaded it on their Google phones because they were... All right.
Reaction to the Igor Danchenko ruling. Given the fact that you told us this so many years ago, that this whole thing of Russia collusion with Trump was bunk, what's your reaction?
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. And I just want to say that if you want my real thoughts, you can read them on truthsocialsubstack.greece.
Well, I think it's pretty simple. There's basically 2 points.
In deference to you, Maria.
One is that Durham is, for whatever reason, having to try the FBI at the same time he's trying these other people.
No. Asshat, the FBI witness that he brought was his biggest problem. He wasn't having to try the FBI. He tried to get lies out of people by narrowly focusing on parts of their testimony. And when he asked too broad a question, he ate shit because he's a moron.
So is it possible that he was hoping that some of these people would actually cooperate so that Durham could bring the charge that really needs to be brought, that we all know, which is a charge of criminal conspiracy? Because we all know.
Yes, we all know that Donald Trump is as pure as the driven snow. It's the power that lets him get away with grabbing pussies. It's how he does it. That's my alarm.
It's very much common sense that this was all concocted.
It was very much common sense.
By the Clinton campaign and the DNC.
And George Papadopoulos fucked the whole thing up.
A few bad apples within the FBI and the DOJ.
Well, then you're not trying the FBI. You would be trying a few bad apples in there. So why don't you go after the few bad apples? Why? All right, because you're guilty, and that's when you attack the system as opposed to individuals.
The former Obama administration that are now in the Biden administration. So Durham is having a problem bringing that criminal conspiracy charge.
Yeah, but it's an intellectual and legal problem. He's not smart enough to lie that well, and he doesn't have the evidence to actually bring it. So, I mean, it's really he's shit himself into a corner.
I think the second point I would say is that we have this other problem that...
Are we supposed to believe what he's saying because he has the word truth behind him multiple times? This is the most ham-handed propaganda I have ever fucking seen.
If you get tried as a Republican in one of the large cities,
one of the brown cities,
jurisdictions in this country, there is a high likelihood that you are going to be on the losing side of that argument in court.
Because they're not going to let you slip away like a red district will let you. Oh, so if Jeffrey Epstein had been tried in a blue district, maybe he wouldn't have gotten a key to the jail back in, when he was in Florida and allowed to let himself out at night.
And this is what's developed now is this two-tiered justice system.
Yeah. That's right. You know why I'm not getting this? Because I'm a black man trapped in a white man's world. I'm just caught in the confines of the bureaucracy. You're a Caucasian, Mr. Heffler. Fine, throw that in my face too, why don't you?
And probably the best
I look like shit.
example is that you haven't seen any of these cast of characters that have been involved in the Russia hoax, and there's many of them. There's dozens that we've talked about on your show
Baker's dozen, someone said to me.
for many, many years now. Their homes didn't get raided like Project Veritas did, like Roger Stone's home did, and probably most importantly and the most ridiculous thing, like President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago did.
Oh, you mean not at all? They didn't get raided, they just got searched? Seriously. Unless they kick the door in, not a raid. Some people have been raided. Not him. There was a legal search warrant that was executed at Mar-a-Lago. Boring.
Yeah, so you say he's having a hard time bringing what's obvious.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at this, you look at this, I look at this, we both look at this, and we're like, how much? Oh.
Conspiracy charge. Why is Merrick
Why?
Garland putting his hand on the scale and telling him don't do it?
Yeah, that hard-ass Merrick Garland. That guy who can't wait to get his hands dirty, epically manipulating the Department of Justice. Yes, Merrick Garland, Justice Missile.
Look, we're running it. We'll never know, right?
Okay, well then why am I talking to you, fuckhead?
Let's not look. All the fake news is saying that Durham's done. Durham's done. Look,
Durham's done. I'm not fake news, but I would like to think I'm in the running.
we don't know that yet.
You know that. He's done.
Durham is still, by all accounts, supposed to do a report. So he's
By all accounts, is supposed to do a report. It's going to be awesome. It won't at all be like a jar full of farts that he throws out a window.
still active. He's still going. I don't
He's active. He's going. He's a young man. He's got prospects.
think we want to jump to any conclusions. I think
He's jumped. You know who's jumping to the conclusion? Durham.
the one thing that we can do, and you had Jim Jordan on a few days ago, and you just played that clip.
Play more clips of Jim Jordan. You can do that, and that would really help you. I think that'll really drive this home. Is that what am I talking about?
The Republicans in Congress are going to have to do something that hasn't been done in many, many years. Some type of church commission or some type of 9/11 commission combo.
Oh, you mean like the January 6th commission? Now, I would say that's pretty much like the 9/11 commission. I mean, they're looking at an act of violence and an attack on our country and our system of government and our way of life. So I think it qualifies. I mean, you wouldn't even have to go back that far, I think, really.
To really look at the FBI, because there are so many candidates running for office out there, not including my old colleagues, but also the new colleagues who are running on a platform.
Show the picture. Show Christopher Steele and Durham looking at him like, I got you right where I want you. And Christopher Steele, like, they're moving the camera shot, or the still in. They're Ken Burnsing the shot of him, but not of Durham. Like, I like you.
Of disbanding and restructuring the FBI. And that's going to have to be done because
Yeah, you're not going to disband and restructure the fucking FBI. Shut your hole, you dipshit. Every major criminal defendant in the country would want that. America's just sick of watching all these shows where the FBI catches serial killers. They're tired of it. They want a few of them to run free.
we just can't live with a two-tier justice system in
We don't have a two-tier justice system. You ditzy fuck.
this country any longer.
Any longer.
I mean, the FBI has now really been exposed. They censored
No,
the Hunter Biden story.
the FBI did not censor the Hunter Biden story. Let me say that again. The FBI did not censor the Hunter Biden story. First of all, the Hunter Biden laptop doesn't exist. It's a bullshit story, and they were counting on it to be an October surprise, and it didn't work. It didn't help. And the New York Post story, Twitter and Facebook and others were like, all right, we're not going to have another Comey moment like we had with HRC. So let's just fucking we'll do the same rule that newspapers do in 6 weeks before the fucking election. That's all. They didn't censor it. And the Russians were bombarding Facebook and Twitter and all these other sites with tons of propaganda, not the least of which were fake BLM groups and fake anti-BLM groups, fake Antifa groups and fake, anti-Antifa groups, fascist groups, I guess, would be in that situation. Fake Republican groups and fake Democratic groups and then seeding real ones to try and gin up, fighting amongst everybody. That's what they went there to report. You're going to hear a lot of shit. You're going to get bombarded. We've got a lot of, stuff coming through, but there's going to be a lot of fake stories coming out about both candidates. Just be prepared. That's what it.
The Hunter Biden laptop.
There is none.
Right before the 2020 election.
Yeah, which was supposed to be so awesome and help and stuff. And then we've been dicking around with like 4 text messages we totally swear are real for 2 goddamn years.
They protected Hillary Clinton. They changed their
Were they not supposed to?
wording on what she was doing with her email, calling it a matter instead of an investigation, as Lynch told them to do. Obviously.
And then Comey came out and said it's an investigation and blew the whole thing. And it turned out to be nothing. 2 years. It was a matter. It turned out to be a matter.
They pursued FISA warrants to spy on the Trump campaign and the.
Well, it's only because if you call a drug dealer twice, it might be a wrong number. You might just be a persistent wrong number dialer. If you call them 500 times, eventually they're going to want to know who the fuck you are when they're wiretapping them.
Presidency, despite knowing that the dossier was fake and made up by Igor Danchenko's interview in January of 2017.
No, it wasn't.
So how did this happen? Why is the FBI
Why would they what?
so political in its leadership? I know that there are many FBI
Many. They aren't.
agents who are.
If they were, this would have been done a long fucking time ago. It would have, if it was political, it would have happened within a month. They would have waited 6 weeks to start snatching fuckers up.
Trying to do a good job, but they are getting overshadowed by the politics at the top of the agency. How did this happen?
It didn't happen. False premise.
Well, I think the easiest way that you can look at it is that they cleverly, meaning they, the left, the Obama administration back
No, thanks. I'm glad he thinks I'm clever.
in the day, they cleverly figured out a
We are very clever. It's true.
way to
Clever girl.
hide in the gray areas between the DOJ and the FBI and the other intelligence agencies.
Yeah, the gray areas are, by the way, are the publicly available gender-neutral bathrooms that are right next to, like, basically there's like a little tunnel. I'll draw you guys a map.
And it was really pretty simple. They used the national security.
Well, you know how they say catch a thief. You hire a thief to catch a thief, or you have to think like a murderer to catch a murderer. If you want to catch a simpleton, you have to think very simply. It's all part of the strategy. That many people have tried to catch Trump by being clever. That was the mistake.
Division within the Department of Justice. They created, this is why they brought on Christopher Steele and Danchenko as sources and started paying them, because it's a very small group, almost a Gestapo type group that they.
Fuck you. Almost like a Gestapo-like group. So you can be forgiven if you shoot one of them when they come to your door because they're basically Nazis. Also, remember the complaints. I would like to remind everyone that the right always says that the left calls everybody a Nazi, and they call them a Nazi, and they're always calling them Nazis. And these guys are like, Gestapo, it's the Nazis. These are Nazis. This is Germany, Nazi Germany. Lisa Carano, this fucker, all the FBI. The police, when they show up with a legally, obtained search warrant, are fucking Gestapo Nazis.
Create that doesn't.
Meanwhile, we call people who marched in Charlottesville and said Jews will not replace us Nazis. I'm just saying, it's like it kind of fits.
Report to anyone, and then they can tell everyone, including the public and including the Congress, We can't talk about that for two reasons. There's somebody's going to die. We could outsource this, and there could be an ongoing investigation. That's what they say every time. So that has to end, and that's why there has.
Well, I'll tell you what, it'll end as soon as we work out that the classified documents that Trump had didn't already get someone killed, or that we find out who that person is if they are still in the field and might get them killed because of who saw it, and we can get them to safety. Then we'll stop this part. And
to be a commission. So that's how.
But how the teenagers are into socialism, you have to give them that. They won't be. I mean, that's like saying like teenage right-wingers are into libertarianism.
They did it. We know how they did it. And now you have to go in there and look. And look, maybe Durham's going to get to some of this in his report, which
It will be a page turner.
Be really good.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. It's going to have a centerfold.
And then maybe, hopefully, the Republicans can put together some type of commission, assuming that they win on Election Day.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Well, it's a great point that you're making. And of course, I remember.
It's a great point that you're making. Professional broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen.
All of those interviews we did throughout 2017, 18, and 19, where you would come on the show and say, I'm demanding these documents. I want to see these documents because I don't believe this.
Right.
And you just sat
Right. And
on your hands.
Right.
And they basically said, go pound sand, Devin Nunes. We're not sending you anything.
yeah, the FBI treated you like every girl in every bar ever.
So that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I remember that. Yeah.
Exactly. They told me to fuck off, and they didn't have to tell me shit because I was in on it. You know, they were doing a RICO investigation, and it involved me, and I kept asking for stuff, and they were like, fuck you. And I was like, okay, bye.
And most importantly, remember the payments to Christopher Steele and Danchenko. That was clearly something that should have been given to Congress, which is why it's
No. Not when members of Congress are fucking involved, stupid. Otherwise, basically, what he's asking for, and what Maria Bartiromo is asking for, let me be abundantly clear, is the ability for Republicans, or quite frankly, anyone in Congress and the Senate, but them in particular, to crime openly without ever getting busted for it, because they would know when they had been discovered. They would know when there were wiretaps on them. They would know when if they were engaged in criminal activity, if they were tapping the person that they were talking to because of their relationship with that person. He's effectively saying the problem with the FBI is that if you're committing a crime, they can look into you, even if you're a sitting representative. And to that I say, of course they can. Fuck you.
kind of unusual that Durham hasn't been able to bring a criminal conspiracy charge.
No, it's very usual.
Just related to lying and misleading Congress, plain and simple.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so totally true. Because they didn't tell you all the undercover money that they were giving out before they did it and during the time they were doing it, because they should have to tell you that, especially if you're the target of the investigation.
You didn't know these people were getting paid. You didn't know about it, $1 million for Steele that was even being proposed, and you're over there investigating.
Being proposed. Crucial piece of crucial detail.
And asking for documents. So they lied and misled you, a sitting chairman of the Intelligence Committee. All right, I got to move on.
Because he was fucking in on it. Again, this is just like mole protection is what they're asking for. They are asking that if China or Russia or fucking Iran, North Korea, anybody places someone in our government through chicanery and they throw a honeypot at somebody and get them married to somebody, and then they over 10 years, this person sleepers their way through being in a relationship with this person that they help get elected, and then that person, I don't know, falls out a window, let's say, and they're like, let's let their husband or wife run in their place in the district, and they get all kinds of money, and they end up running on the name recognition, and they stay in, and that person is a literal fucking Manchurian candidate. That what this dipshit wants is for you to never be able to prosecute that person or go after them.
And ask you about Twitter. The stock is
I think she did pick up pound sand for me, by the way.
down this morning after this report that the Biden administration is discussing whether the United States should subject some of Elon Musk's ventures to national security reviews, including his Twitter
That's not why.
takeover bid. The Washington Post says Musk may cut 75% of Twitter's workforce and allow for the return of President Trump on the platform. What do you think about that, given the fact that Trump is so active on Truth Social right now?
Yeah, and which is going great.
Well, look, the main reason that I left Congress.
Look at there's a little bit of panic in his face because their biggest nightmare is Twitter, is that Elon Musk makes it more friendly to people like Trump and everybody just stampedes back. Trump can't afford to go back to Twitter because if he goes back there, Truth Social is fucking dead and it's a money laundering endeavor.
Was precisely because of the censorship that was going on in this country. And the goal that
there was none. There's no censorship. If a business doesn't want some asshole spouting anti-Semitic bullshit on their site, they can kick that person to the curb, just like you can ask them to leave your fucking restaurant. It takes up no physical space. It's a digital medium. It's a private company. If it ultimately censors or kicks off too many people, then somebody will put one up that doesn't, and it will take over, and that's how it works. This is not yardage. They have to pay for their cloud fucking space. Many of even the server farms aren't even in the country. A lot of them are in Mexico or in Canada. So it's not censorship.
President Trump and I have set forward here is a very simple one, and that is to...
Yes, apparently simplicity is key to trying to get Trump to understand anything. Still doesn't work.
Reopen the internet to give the American people their voice back.
Yeah, he closed down the internet just like he closed down Iran.
So, despite, all the stories that have been out there, we've been very supportive of Musk buying Twitter. We like the fact that Kanye West is buying Parler because
that will kill Parler right away. We're trying to get some of the anti-Semites off of our site, and they'll race over to that one. Not that they're not welcome, but just that we want their accounts to stay on. We just don't want them to post that shit. It's a lot of work.
If you really look at it, there's only been 2 companies that have been standing in the breach for this past year as the only possible insurance policy that the American citizenry has, and that is True
Counter Social?
Social and the other company, Rumble, where we are basically building an entire parallel ecosystem that cannot be canceled by the Amazons of the world and these other big tech companies like we saw happen to Parler.
Yes, and it's attracting exactly the crowd you think. Basically, it's like BitChute for dog whistlers.
I think it's absolutely necessary to have free speech in this country so that the American people can actually express their political views and they can't be censored through tricky algorithms or shadow banning. And I think that's why you've seen,
which is still a myth.
True Social has rocketed up. You've seen, nearly every center conservative.
That's all right. Now somebody's fucking with him. Truth Social has rocketed up. That's it year to date. That's funny. Whoever's doing that to Devin Nunes fucking hates Devin Nunes. This is the Digital World Acquisition Corp is the SPAC that pays for and owns Truth Social. This is it in whatever, March or some shit or whatever. There it is. Oh, it's just doing so good. And it says 16.15. It was at $101 a share. It's at $16. It's down here. It says 15.30. So that's even late. They left the part up there where it's 16.15, and it's been going down. It lost a fucking $1.05. What that happened while they were on the air? They already made the top one, but this one's supposed to be, a live graphic. So, oh God.
Center-right conservative is now using Rumble. This is why, because people are attracted to a free and open internet.
Yeah, of course. Well, these are all very.
Yes, we want a free and open internet where child predators and human traffickers and no censorship whatsoever. You can come on Truth Social, you can write whatever you want, as long as you don't mock the president, in which case you'll be kicked off in a fucking heartbeat.
Important points that you make.
By the way, I've been censored multiple times on Truth Social for images that are disconcerting because I posted pictures of the gallows on the Capitol grounds.
We'll be watching it all. Thanks very much for being here this morning.
Awesome. Well, guys, that's me for today. I'm sorry I'm on at an odd time, but it's just, family calls. That's just how it works. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be on earlier in the day, and I'm going to do a long form, probably like I'm in Central Time, so like noon around that time, and I'll do the Trump rally from this weekend because we haven't done a whole one, and I feel like I want to do that catching up. So I didn't post enough I'm sorry, I didn't post enough about it. Okay, so Truth Social sucks, and I will see you guys later. And I have an account on there, so there you go. If they would let me live stream, it would be beautiful, but they won't. I don't know why. Weird. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And remember, if you're presented in this election cycle with a choice you think is the lesser of two evils, choose less evil.